I'm delighted to welcome our new Executive Director, Claire Leverett, who is going to open with the State of NC Live.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're really excited to have you all here today, and we're excited to be in Charlotte. It's our first time being in Charlotte for our annual conference, and we love it here. We're definitely coming back. So yeah, we're excited to be with you today and to spend the day together, and we hope to have lots of fun, which leads me to our goals for today. So we want to learn from each other, connect with our peers, and build our NC Live community. I'm going to share some NC Live updates, and of course, we want to hear your feedback. And lastly, we want to have fun today. So we hope it's a great day. So first of all, I want to say thank you to all of our amazing conference planners and volunteers. Firstly, to Sophie, who is just amazing with this conference. She is just the organizer extraordinaire of the entire event, so really appreciate everything that she does, and Julie, who is our admin support specialist at NC Live, and also all of our committee members. We have a photo up here of part of our Outreach, Promotions, and Partnerships Committee when they went to the zoo, the North Carolina Zoo, so if you join our committees, you can get to do some fun stuff. Also, organize this conference, so we're really appreciative of all of our committees and also our volunteers here today who are helping out. So thank you so much to everyone who makes this possible. So I'm going to start off with a brief intro about NC Live for those of you who are new or need a refresher, just to provide some context for what we do. So we are a membership cooperative. We're a library membership cooperative. We're hosted by NC State University in Raleigh. We are 28 years old. We consist of 4 different communities, as Sophie just mentioned, and we have 208 libraries across North Carolina. We are also a private and public partnership, which means we get both state funding and private funding through the independent colleges and universities. And we are 208 libraries working together. We have a great diversity of library types, from very large academic libraries to small public libraries. We have urban libraries and rural libraries. And it's really great and special that we all come together. We all get the same content, software, and services. And because of that, we get great deals on resources. We're able to share knowledge, work together, support each other, and it's a really great community that we have all working together to support libraries across North Carolina and all of our users. This is our mission. NC Live helps member libraries to better support education, enhance economic development, and improve the quality of life of all North Carolinians. And we're very passionate about our mission. There's a lot that we can do with it, and we continue to look for ways that we can advance this mission. We know that NC Live is really great in that it provides equity of access to information across the state. Because NC Live serves public libraries, any North Carolina citizen can get a public library card and get access to NC Live and get the same resources that students at academic institutions across the state have access to. So it's really special that we have this equity of information access across the state. And NC Live also provides continuity of access from children in their K through 12 schools in North Carolina. They can get access to NC Live through their public libraries. Many of our public libraries have student access programs. Then when they go to college, to a 2-year or 4-year college, they still have NC Live access. And then when they graduate, they can continue with their NC Live access in North Carolina through their public libraries. So we love the idea of we stay with people throughout their lives, and NC Live is that familiar source of good information that they can take with them. So this is our funding. We spend $3.6 million in content a year. And you can see, too, we have a breakdown of our state funding and our private funding. I know with the uncertainty around IMLS recently, we have gotten questions, is MC Live impacted by IMLS? And we do not receive any recurring funding from the federal government or IMLS. All of our funding is either recurring funding, is either state appropriated or from our private institutions. But we do sometimes receive one-time funding from IMLS and LSTA grants. And we just recently got one this year. So, but in terms of our recurring funding, we are not impacted by that. The other challenge for us with funding is that we have not had a funding increase in 20 years. So it is getting harder to maintain our current portfolio of resources, as you all know, and you're all aware with your own budgets that inflation really eats into your buying power. And so the same is true with NC Live. And that's one of the challenges that we're working hard at, is raising awareness of NC Live, talking about the great value that NC Live provides this state, and trying to work at getting additional funding. I am very confident that NC Live provides an amazing value. We have a really great return on investment. We provide high quality information resources. We save libraries a ton of money throughout the state. I'm very confident if we continue to raise awareness, continue to spread the word about NC Live, and we talk to the right people, that they will see how important NC Live is. So I believe it's just about trying to continue to build those connections and raise awareness. And this is our return on investment. We saved libraries $47.8 million last year, and that's by all working together and purchasing together as a group. Vendors really want to work with us because they know that if they get a deal in North Carolina, they get their resource into every single library. So it gives us great buying power when we're looking for our deals. So now I want to move on to some highlights from the past year. And I'll start with some membership themes. And I guess I'll preface this by saying that some of these themes are hard. And we know that. We're living that right now. But I hope to move on to some positive news after this. So the first theme is that there's a lot of funding uncertainty and instability. And we've already been experiencing this. This was already a theme even before January. We know that library budgets are tighter, that there's more staffing cuts, staffing restrictions. So the recent funding uncertainty and instability is just kind of building on top of that. So we know that that's hard right now for a lot of libraries. There's also growing concerns around censorship and academic freedom, and this keeps growing as well. And so that's kind of another theme that we're seeing a lot with North Carolina libraries. In the midst of all this, we're hearing from our libraries, we need help communicating the library's value and impact. And it's even more important now with the current environment that we know how to communicate. Here's why the library is so important to my community. Here's the data to back it up. Here are the stories that I have, and learning how to communicate the impact of our libraries into non-library people who don't maybe understand. And so we're hearing from libraries, we need help doing this. We also, of course, had Helene in the fall, which was a huge impact, devastating impact on the western part of our state and all of our member libraries there. And that continues to be a theme. People are still recovering in that area. And so that was another, major event that happened this past year. We're also seeing changes that are impacting libraries, and libraries are trying to figure out how do I deal with these changes? What's my role? Some of these include AI, accessibility, accreditation changes, reporting. So at NC Live, we're thinking about, how can we help libraries with these changes, and what's our role in providing support? And finally, trying to end on a positive note, we have seen new library buildings and spaces. Sophie and I, we go out and we visit libraries across the state. And whenever I hear about a library or a campus or a community getting a new library building, it always sparks a little joy within me because I'm like, that's really great to see that a community is investing in their library and wanting to build this new space. So we're seeing those crop up around North Carolina too. And when things do get hard and there seems like there's a lot of negative news, for me personally, it really helps to try to pick out the bright spots and pick out like, oh, here's where I can see that we have made a really positive impact, or someone does understand the value that the library is providing. We know that we provide a lot of value to our communities and that we see that in our everyday interactions. So for me, it always helps to kind of have a place where I like gather all of those kind of positive stories and can look back on them and, reaffirm like it is what we are doing is really important. And this quote actually came from last week. Sheila Killebrew from Davidson County Public Library sent around this op-ed from the Davidson County Library Commissioner. And when I read it, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. Like it just immediately, sparked joy within me. So I pulled out a quote and the whole op-ed is great. There were so many great quotes. So I really had to like pick and choose which one I wanted to put on this slide. But he said, public libraries remain among the last truly accessible spaces where deep, meaningful knowledge and community engagement are both free and open to all. And then later he says, they are not relics of the past, but cornerstones of our future. And I just really loved that, especially that future part, because I think, sometimes we hear a lot like, oh, libraries just have books, or they're just, kind of these buildings from history. But I really think that libraries are so important to our future, even more now with just all the information out there and AI and literacy. It's even more important that we have these places and the work that we do in our communities. So that quote is very inspiring to me. So some of the emerging support needs that we're seeing from our libraries, as I'm talking through these, I want you to also, maybe this will help, percolate within you some other ideas, because during our feedback sessions, we want to get more ideas from you. So these are some of the things that we're hearing so far, and maybe some of these will ring true with you. So one of them is just library staff are looking for a knowledge hub and a source for information on rapidly changing elements in libraries. And some of those are accessibility and AI. We've been hearing that a lot. Libraries want help with these two items. So at NC Live, we're thinking about what can we do to support libraries in these areas. And we're also hearing that there's a desire to build community between libraries and between library staff and different types of libraries. We're hearing that a lot, both for knowledge sharing and also success sharing. And I think that's a really great part of being part of a library consortium, is that we have this community and we can support each other and try, we be more efficient in, sharing our success and not duplicating efforts. So I think that's something that we can provide at NC Live. We've also been hearing libraries want help with e-resource marketing support. We've been working on that, and we'll continue to work on that. And I think that's also tied into raising awareness of what we do. And lastly, as I've mentioned, we've been hearing from libraries that they want help communicating their value, data storytelling, knowing how to look at the data, what metrics to use, what will be the most powerful elements, and how to communicate that value in a way that stakeholders and people not familiar with the library will understand. And I've put some pictures of our amazing swag up here to entice you. I know you've probably already seen it. We've tried to be, with the mugs, we're like, you can only win them through Plinko or through our raffles to try to build some scarcity. So you'll want to come and be more enticed to participate in our feedback sessions. So we hope you'll come, and we want to hear from you. What else do you want to see NC Live doing in this next year, and what support do you need? So we have access through NC Live, 1.8 billion items of content, of digital content this past year. And our top used resources in 2024 were ABI Inform, which is a business database through ProQuest, and Health and Medical Collection. And these were the top used resources across all of our 4 communities. We also had 8.9 million views across the state in 2024, so it's great to see so many people using NC Live resources. And we added 2 new resources last year. We added Gale Indigenous Peoples of North America, which is a permanent resource, so we'll have it forever. It has unlimited access, and we were able to purchase this through an LSTA grant. And we also had added Nursing Current Concepts Collection, which is a collection of 700 plus nursing videos, all current within the past 5 years. We also added more homegrown ebooks to Overdrive, which are our unlimited simultaneous use ebooks, and we had 138,000 checkouts of these ebooks through Overdrive last year. In more recent news, we renewed our ProQuest contract through December 2029. This is our largest package of resources, and the RAC did, the heavy lifting with this renewal. I go and take a thumb up and thumb down test now. Whenever I talk to my daughter, I'm like, "How was your day at school?" She just gives me kind of or like, "How did you like dinner?" It's like, So anyways, I was curious. I'm hoping that the ProQuest deal is thumbs up. Okay, great. And if it's not, we still want to hear from you. That's part of our ongoing kind of resource assessment and the work that our Resource Advisory Committee does, is we want to hear from you about our resources. So we also added our new promotional and print materials page and made it a really, hopefully nice user interface that you all can use to get those e-resource marketing materials easier and help market your e-resources. So we've tried to make it like a fun online shopping experience, but for free. Everything's free, where you can filter your materials and add it to your cart, and you can get print materials from vendors, also digital materials and social media graphics. So there's a lot on there, and we invite you to check it out. So with our training program last year, continues to be very popular. While our total attendance in 2024 was 28,000 views and attendance of our training. Our top 5 trainings in 2024, the first one was AI and the Future of Personal Computing was our top training from last year, and our second one was Capturing Student Success in Libraries. So you can really see those themes coming out of people want to know about AI and they want help with value and student success. And you can get access to all of our trainings through nclive.org/training or /recordings. And we're also working on refreshed resource tutorials, and we are coming out with 17 by the end of June, and these are just on a newly enhanced platform. So we hope you'll use those too, and we hope they're easier to use. And lastly, and a very exciting highlight for me was that I became the new executive director, and thank you. And I just want to say I'm just so thrilled to be in this position. I love working at NC Live. It's really the best place I've ever worked, and I believe it's just because it's such a joy to work with all of you, to work with library staff around the state, and get to know so many different types of library and library staff members. So I'm very excited to continue doing this work and continue working with you all to build a stronger NC Live and stronger support for libraries across the state. And I also love working with the NC Live team, who you can see pictured on here. We're just an amazing group, and a small but mighty team is usually what I tell people. So we have fun, I think. I hope we have fun. So in terms of a look ahead, here's some things that we're going to start working on. The Resource Advisory Committee is going to start working on our next resource selection cycle. So we buy our resources every 3 years. So this will be for our resources starting in January 1st, 2027, but it basically takes a year to do the work, to do the evaluation and the assessment. So right now, we are in our community input phase, and it's a very important phase where we want to hear from you. What resources do you like that we currently have? What resources do you wish we had? So we're doing that work now. And then in the spring, the Resource Advisory Committee will finalize recommendations. Our executive committee, which is our governing body, they will make the final decision. And we hope to announce in August of 2026, and the new resources will start in January 2027. So that's a brief overview of the timeline. The resource selection process that the RAC will use, they will gather community input. They'll do data gathering and evaluation. So we'll look at reports like cost per use, the amount of use by community of interest, also qualitative feedback in terms of our surveys that we're putting out and what we're hearing from everyone. And they'll also do an assessment of our current resources and an assessment of any new resources that we've been hearing. Oh, look at this resource or explore this resource. So they'll break out into groups and do assessment on the new resources. And the selection criteria they'll use, they'll look at value across our communities of interest. And that's a really important one because we have such a diverse group of member libraries. It's very important that we're making sure our resources are good for everyone and everyone can see value in them. We also look at cost per use to make sure that we are getting a good monetary value for the resources we buy. We'll look at accessibility, user experience, quality and quantity for the money, and also change costs to the community, which means is if we have two resources and one is a new one and then one is an incumbent and they're both neck and neck, we don't want to make people change. We know that changing resources is hard and takes a lot of staff time and is hard for our users. So we're also aware of that. And usually when there is a resource that is changed, it is because there's low usage of that resource, or there's a very high cost per use, or there's another resource that we're hearing people really want this. So those are some of the criteria that the RAC will be looking at. So we do really want your feedback, and we recently launched a resource value survey. So we'd love to hear from you if you haven't taken it already. I think we're around 375 responses so far, and last time we got up to like 600. So really hoping we can get back up to like 600, and we hope you'll participate. It takes only about 8 minutes. So another thing that we'll be working on, like I mentioned, is communicating value. And one of our pieces of this is our usage portal refresh. So if you're not familiar, you can pull your library's usage stats from the NC Live website. But we've gotten feedback that sometimes it's hard to know what stats to use or what metrics to use. So Daniel has been working on this in our Online Services Advisory Committee, a big refresh basically to make it easier for you to just quickly pull the data you need and not have to spend lots of time in the Excel spreadsheet, unless you really like doing that, in which case you can get the Excel spreadsheet. So our goal is just to make statistics easy to use, and we'll have things I'll add new features like peer comparisons, top 5 resources for your library. We'll also add visualizations and charts that you can easily download and put in your report. So that will be coming soon. And we're also working on some training for the fall along the lines of demonstrating your library's value. So we'll have messaging, we'll have training around effective messaging, communicating with stakeholders, collecting and interpreting impact data, and creating compelling one-pagers. So look for that coming in the fall. And we'll also be working on more accessibility support. We've already been doing this work. We've already been advocating for accessibility on a statewide level with our resources. We'll continue to do that. But we'll also have more training for the updates for ADA Title II that are required for government institutions for this spring. So we'll have more training on that, and also more communication and support for libraries. So look for that coming soon as well. And if you haven't been to our website, please check out our For Librarians page on our website, because basically almost everything I talked about today is in our For Librarians section. You can join our listserv, you can access the promotional materials, you can get to the usage reports, and we also have our all of our training support and our training calendar there too.